the day that we do this, Dwell Live. This is a Dwell Youth Ministry, which is a product of First Congregational Church, United Church of Christ in Colorado Springs, Colorado. My name is Josh. I am the youth director here at First Congregational. During these times of COVID, we are going live like this on a few different platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. You can watch them afterwards on both Instagram TV and on YouTube. Whoa, we're doing this because of that. Just kidding, I don't have COVID. But we're doing this because of COVID-19 and this ongoing pandemic. To be as safe as possible, we are engaging primarily online so we can stay safe during this time of COVID. It's a little wild out there. The good news is that that there's an end in sight, with vaccines rolling out, we can kind of see the finish line of whatever this is. We're at almost a year of this pandemic. It's now March of 2021. March of 2020 is when this whole thing started on US shores. And boy, it's been wild. A year of being distant from one another, from staying away from friends and family and various social gatherings. And we're here, and we're tired, and we're sad, we're exhausted because we're experiencing this collective trauma together. But we're here now. So this program came out of a need to connect, because there can be some beautiful moments found even amidst a pandemic. I started in this job during this pandemic, and I've had the opportunity to connect with so many of you, which has been a real joy. And I can't wait to see you all in person. But for now, we're going to stay in this online space. And on this program, on Wednesday night, I am answering your questions. I post them in a few places. I've sent emails out with links to an anonymous form where you can submit literally any question. It doesn't have to there's no bounds to what questions you can ask. One of my rules is that every sincere and honest question deserves a sincere and honest answer. And that's what I'm doing here. You're giving me your sincere and honest questions. So I'm doing my best to answer it as best as I can, sincerely and honestly. So I'll be posting that link to the anonymous question form on Instagram, on emails. I'll post it on Facebook as well. So you'll see those. So please give me your questions, because this program is driven by you. Tonight, I'm answering the question, how does God respond to your prayers? And that is a hard question. It's tricky because we define prayer in so many different ways. For each of us, prayer probably means something slightly different. And on top of that, we also define God differently. Every one of us probably views God just a little differently. Some of us may not even believe in a God at all, or believe that prayer exists. But for me, so I'm going to answer this question from my perspective, because I can't speak to what you should believe. So this is how I view God responding to my prayers. But first, you should probably honor where I think this question is coming from, or at least what I put on it. Because often I think of prayer when I need something, or I'm heartbroken, or some tragedy happens, or I pray earnestly for something and it doesn't happen. It's as if God's ears were closed to me. Some of you have known this, and now all of you can know this if you're watching this video. I grew up with a really bad stutter. I was deeply impacted, and words and speaking were difficult. And today, if you pay very close attention, you'll hear me stutter still. I've been around for a few years now, so I've learned some tricks to minimize the impact of a stutter. But I still do it. It's still a part of who I am. I'm not ashamed of it. If you hear it, don't feel any secondary embarrassment over it. I promise you, I'm comfortable with it. It's really okay. For the longest time, I wasn't okay with it. And I prayed. And I prayed for years, for a couple of decades. God, get rid of this stutter. I promise you, I'll be a good boy. I promise you, I'll do good work. I'll dedicate my life to you if you just get rid of the stutter. And it never happens. And I felt like God was just turning their back on me. And I was sad. Because I believed that God answered prayers, And I thought that was a small one. Just let me not stutter anymore, I thought that was an easy thing to fix for God. Or for others, there are times when their parent gets diagnosed with cancer, or their child gets diagnosed with cancer. And they pray for God to get rid of it, for God to heal. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that causes a lot of people to lose their faith in God because they trusted so wholeheartedly in a God that could heal and change things if they prayed and believed. Some of you may have prayed similar prayers, asking God to change something because you believed in a good and loving God. And how could these terrible things happen? And you shout and you cry out to your version of God and try to plead for something that you think is good, and it doesn't happen. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that pain. Your suffering wasn't a plan set forth. We all suffer for some reason. Pain exists in this world. It's what makes us human, is that we experience this pain. And all I'll tell you is I'm sorry. My relationship to prayer has been complicated, partially because of that, and partially because it's hard for me to believe that my prayers do anything, because I prayed for a lot of things and they don't happen. Where it seems weird that people pray for their sporting event to go well, for their football team to win. It's strange. Prayer is weird. But I believe in prayer. Why? Let me define what prayer means to me, okay? Prayer is this opportunity to find the divine within me and the divine around me and try to become closer to that reality, to become more divine with every action, or at least closer to the divine. So, prayer for me is this opportunity to let go of who I think I am in order to become who I'm supposed to be. Prayer is this reflection, meditation, it's even a conversation with God, a God that exists within me and that I believe exists around me as well. So, how does God respond to my prayers, at least? They respond when I am changed. If you pray for the world to change and something good happens, then maybe that's something. Uh, but I think the change that happens in the world is a result of what we do. Because we are the vessels of the divine in the world. So when I pray, I ask for myself to be changed and to be the change in which I want to see happen in here, happen in this world. So God responds to prayers when, frankly, I respond to the needs of the world. God responds when we respond. And you pray for big things like to heal your parents of some disease, or to comfort those who are hurt. You can pray for those things because I think it helps. Maybe not in a tangible sense that a disease will be taken away, but at least in the sense that we are connected spiritually and emotionally to the person we are praying for. I think that's a good thing. But what I want to leave you with is this: be the change, be the prayer. Perhaps somebody is praying out there for someone to help them, and you can be the answer to that prayer. Because frankly, I don't know if prayer does anything else besides when we are the prayer. I don't know if that makes sense. Would love to talk about that more, but for now, I'll leave it there. Be the prayer and be the answer to those prayers. And I think we can do a lot of good in this world. All right, y'all. Well, I love you very much. We're coming close to the end of this COVID thing. I can't wait to hang out with you all in person, in this space, the dwelling place. You are all important. You matter. This world is a better place because you're here. And I'm so grateful you're here. All right, Joe. Peace.